as he goes, so goes this Aggie team.
Yeah, and there's a ton of experience for Utah State. They're going to rely on that. For Air Force, it's all about trying to disrupt that tempo of the Aggies. Falcons have to do that early on. Air Force has made some changes. We'll talk about those. And for Air Force, they've just got to get up in the face of Utah State, make them move the basketball laterally if they can, and see if they can, like I said, disrupt some of that tempo and slow down the rhythm of the Aggies.
Aggies control the opening tip. The Falcons going with A.J. Walker, Ethan Taylor, Jake Heidbreder. Octave and Mormon are out today due to COVID protocol, so Nick Jackson and Camden Vanderswag round out the starting five for Joe Scott's team. Joe in his sixth season is the head coach of the Air Force Falcons, and that's Rylan Jones, the junior out of Holiday, Utah, gets the opening bucket of the game.
Yeah, found a nice little seam, attacked it well, did Jones. Early points for the Aggies.
And Utah State led by Ryan Odom in his first season, of course, was at UMBC the last five. And there is Jake Heidbreder, the freshman. Hasn't looked like a freshman this season, averaging just under 9 points a game.
And that was great ball movement by Air Force. Good cut to the basket by Nick Jackson. Worked the basketball out well. Heidbreder knocks down the corner three.
So Air Force with a 1 point lead here early on. This Utah State team, as we talked about in the pregame, leads the nation in assists. Head fake and gets Nick Jackson up in the air and go to the line for free throws here. Utah State, the first opportunity, down by one, and it's R.J. Idlerock, the senior out of London.
Yeah, it was good defense by Air Force. They forced Utah State into that one-on-one matchup. Idlerock to the line.
And rolling, this Utah State team lost 3 starters from a season ago. They have 10 newcomers on board. Idlerock, one of those players, a transfer, came in with head coach Ryan Odom from that UMBC program.
Yeah, and what a UMBC program that was. The Retrievers, they obviously pulled off the first ever 16 over the 1 a couple of years ago in the NCAA tournament, bringing some players with head coach Ryan Odom.
Of course, Ryan Odom replacing Craig Smith, 3 seasons, 3 NCAA tournament appearances, a couple of Mountain West tournament championships. And now with the Utah Utes, 3 ball up and good. That's Camden Vanderswag. And the Falcons have hit their first 2 attempts from beyond the arc here, at a good start against the Aggies.
Yeah, great start. Good rhythm from Vanderswag getting his first start of the season.
Idlerock on a ball fake. Drops it off right side to Bean. 15 to shoot. Bean not able to keep it in play. Turnover. Air Force able to force that Utah State miscue. And for the Aggies, their first turnover of the afternoon.
Yeah, great defending from Ethan Taylor, forcing the issue. That's what Air Force needs to do, continue to get in the face of Utah State, force that basketball side to side.
Jackson surveying here with 20 on the shot clock. Vanderswag hit that 3 the last time down the floor. A little ball fake there. Now Nick Jackson. Over to A.J. Walker, off the screen from Jackson. Walker, 2 defenders, floats it up with the right hand, no. Jackson battles for it, and Justin being able to clear the rebound. Right side, Jones in the corner. Miller off the ball fake, back to Jones, 3 ball, no. Long iron, Jackson the rip for the Falcons.
And you can see right there how Utah State is able to create space, get that open 3, just not able to knock it down.
This Utah State team averaging just under 80 points a contest. They've outscored their opponents by nearly 9 points a game.
Foul on Rylan Jones down low. Transfer from Utah.
We talked about that 79.5 points per game average for Utah State. Well, the last 5 games, they've averaged 83.3 points. So this is a team that can score in a hurry. They've had 11 players scoring double figures this season. Taylor, 3, short iron, and Jones the clear here for Utah State. Looks off to the left side, Horvath, 3 ball, no, and Jackson has his second rebound of the game.
It rushed a little bit there from Brandon Horvath.
This is a Utah State team that makes just under 10 3-point field goals a game. They shoot 39% from long range, and Justin Bean, historically in his career, been one of the top 3-point shooters in the country, and that's going to go Utah State's way.
Yeah, they're going to call Nick Jackson there. Just inventing a little bit of contact there at the top of the key as he tried that 3.
Well, we mentioned Lucas Moorman. Joseph Octave out of the lineup due to COVID protocol. So Ryan Corner, the 6'11 freshman out of Allendale, Michigan, checks in for the first time here this afternoon. He's played in 1 game, 4 minutes this season for the freshman. but key minutes here in the Mountain West Conference opener. The rebound put back, and a foul drawn there by Brandon Horvath, the senior out of West River, Maryland.
Yeah, took it up strong the second time. Did Horvath, takes the foul right there, but big minutes for Ryan Corner coming in. Another one of the players who has experience playing here at the prep school at the United States Air Force Academy, one of 9 freshmen who played together at that prep school.
Horvath, a 61% free throw shooter. He is also a transfer out of UMBC, the Retrievers. Ryan Odom, what a run he had there, as you mentioned, Roland. 5 seasons, and crowning season 2018, that first ever 16-1 upset against number 1 Virginia. And he has inherited a great program in Logan, Utah. Here's Vanderswag looking inside. They'll go up top to Corner. Corner screens, 3-ball up and good. Jake Heidbreeder, the freshman, hits the triple. And Air Force with a 5-point lead. In the corner, Bean trying to answer side iron, and a rebound controlled there by Vanderswag.
Yeah, what a big shot that was on the last offensive possession for Heidbreeder. He'll get the basketball back now.
Air Force 50% from the field here in the early going. Ethan Taylor goes up top, Vanderswag. Little jab step off to the right side. Heidbreeder, hesitation, drops it off. Nearly turned it over. Miller can't secure. Heidbreeder, line drive 3, back iron. And Horvath secures for Utah State.
Yeah, really good movement from Air Force, just not a lot of movement under the basket, but they've done a good job spreading Utah State side to side.
Taylor takes it away from Ryland Jones, who leads. Well, he leads the Aggies in assists, 15th in the nation. Big takeaway there for the Air Force Falcons. A 5-point lead here. Just over 4.5 minutes gone by in this one. A.J. Walker on the floor, reverse dribble into traffic, turns it over. Ryland Jones has it, and Utah State wants to push, and now they'll hold back for the moment. Horvath hesitates, drives, swatted, but he's fouled before the shot.
Yeah, it looked like a clean block, but they are going to call the foul, as you said, as Horvath was turning the corner there, going toward the basket.
Another look there, Horvath, a transfer out of Maryland, Baltimore County, and with that, a timeout on the floor. Air Force with the lead. They're up by 5. We'll step aside back to Cluno right after this for the Mountain West Conference opener. Heidbreeder and the Air Force Falcons off to a good start. Heidbreeder, a couple of big threes, Roland Vargas, and Air Force the 5-point lead here over Utah State in the opening minutes.
Yeah, huge threes for Heidbreeder. Came into the game 65% from 3, knocked down 2 early. Air Force jumped out to the quick lead.
Heidbreeder and the Air Force Falcons on top here. 28th meeting all time between the Aggies and the Air Force Falcons. Utah State leads this series 21-6. So here is Brandon Horvath, a 61% free throw shooter. And that cuts the lead to 4 here. Just under 5 minutes gone by here in the opening half. This Aggie team, some impressive wins on their resume coming in. Oklahoma, they knocked off the Sooners by 3 in November. A win over New Mexico State. The Aggies always a tough matchup. And then in the Big Sky Conference, knocked off Weber State by 15. A close loss to St. Mary's. They've had a tough schedule to prepare them well for Mountain West Conference play. And Air Force, as we talked about, they're unbeaten at home. And a tough stretch to close out non-conference play. 3 straight losses on the road, but a good start here. 5 of the shot clock. Vanderswag swings it right side. A.J. Walker, 2 to shoot. Got to go. Throws it out with the right hand. No. And leaping high in the air is Brandon Horvath to secure the rebound.
Active defense again from the Aggies, forcing that prayer of a shot from A.J. Walker as the shot clock expired.
Ashworth coming off the bench on the floor right now for the Aggies. Bean over to Jones. Miller on the floor right now for Ryan Odom's team. Long 3, and Utah State ice cold from downtown. They're over, and this is a team, as we mentioned, they average just under 10 makes from long range per game.
Yeah, Air Force giving no space for Utah State on the perimeter.
Ball fake there by Vanderswag, covered up there by Ashworth defensively. 9 to shoot here for the Falcons. Highbreeder, couple of threes already. Here's Vanderswag off the screen, trying to split the defenders. Horvath reaches in. He'll be ticketed with the foul with 3 on the shot clock and 13:55 to go here in this opening half.
Yeah, Vanderswag just trying to make himself some space. Utah State will make a change. Sean Bairstow will come in, junior from down under.
And Bairstow, all kinds of experience for Utah State. Played 57 games over the last 2 seasons entering the 21-22 campaign. And Bairstow on the floor now here with just under 14 to go in a 3-point game. Jackson thought about the 3. Now he'll go left side, gives it off to A.J. Walker. Good defense there on the part of Stephen Ashworth. Drive with the right hand. Taylor, no, can't get the roll. And a rebound secured by Bean quickly in transition. Utah State running the floor. Jones 3 ball, and they remain without a 3-point field goal here in this opening half. Roland Vargas now 0 for 6 is Utah State from long range.
Yeah, and Air Force doing a good job not giving up any second chance points so far on some of those threes that have missed for the Aggies. Nick Jackson now with the basketball. Highbreeder made a good cut. Instead, they go out to A.J. Walker.
Here's Walker now, doubled up, drives, drops it off. Jackson with the left hand, too strong. Great feed by Jackson, or rather by Walker. Jackson not able to finish. Bean now, power dribble with the right hand. Beautiful move. Justin Bean, the senior, has his first bucket of the game.
Yeah, and there's the experience of Bean. Just took that extra dribble, got himself the space, took the contact as well, finished strong.
Well, it's been impressive, the jump that Justin Bean has made, averaging just over 11 points a game last season. This season, right at about 20 points per contest, the leading scorer, averaging a double-double for Utah State this season. They'll go down low to Nick Jackson. Played there by Horvath. Backs him down, turns with the left hand, leaves it short. And one and done on that possession. The rip, and then the pass here to the Air Force end. Catch it, shoot it. And side iron is Ashworth not able to hit from long range.
Yeah, and Air Force able to close out that space right into the face of Ashworth just in time to alter that shot enough.
Utah State now 0 for 6 from downtown. Vanderswag swings right side to Highbreeder. Looking down low for A.J. Walker. Jackson now played up top by Horvath. There's Ethan Taylor. Jackson thought about the 3, puts it on the floor, reverse dribble, trying to step through Horvath. Not fooled whatsoever. Long 3. Shot clock ticking down. And A.J. Walker not able to connect. Horvath now played there by Highbreeder. And that's tipped by Jake. Good hands by the freshman out of Indiana. With that, a timeout of the floor. Good run for both teams. This one's tightened up. A 1-point game. 9-8. Air Force leading in a Mountain West Conference opener. We'll be back to Clune Arena right after this. Clune Arena, the Air Force Falcons leading Utah State in the Mountain West Conference opener here for both these teams. 9-8 our score. Josh Howell, Roland Vargas, and Roland. It's been a little bit of a drought for the Falcons the last 5 minutes. They have been scoreless. Utah State just one of their last 8, and both these teams trying to settle in here in the Mountain West opener. Horvath gets loose inside and throws it down, and the Aggies had the lead for the first time here this afternoon.
Yeah, so far a bit of a choppy basketball game. Neither team able to go on much of a run. You mentioned it, approaching 5.5 minutes now. Falcons without a basket.
So substitution here for Utah State. Up off the bench comes Trevin Dorius, the junior out of Heber City, Utah.
It was Ashworth that picked up that last foul for Utah State.
On the inbound here, Heidbreder gives it off to Corner, who's in the game for the second time here in the opening half. Good spin move by A.J. Corner now. Over to Vanderswag. On the cut through his Heidbreder, gets the feed, and the low block doubled up there inside out. And into the game is Carter Murphy, the junior out of Phoenix, out of this timeout. 2 to shoot. Carter hoists it up, and too strong. Bean on the rebound for Utah State. This is Ashworth surveying. And he'll swing it over to Max Shula, who's in here out of the timeout for Utah State, the sophomore out of Kiev, Ukraine. Shulga averages 4.5 points a game. Drive, drop, and can't get the easy one as Trevin Dorius. And once again, good contest there by Air Force.
Yeah, and Shulga walked with the basketball, wasn't called. Falcons obviously happy. Utah State was forced into missing that shot.
There's Corner looking inside. He'll go up top to Heidbreder. 13 to shoot here for the Falcons. Screen from Corner. Heidbreder just outside the elbow. Long iron. One and done again. This time Bean clears. He'll run the floor inside out. Extra pass here to the corner. Ball fake. They'll drop it down to the baseline of Bean, and they'll set it up top. 20 to shoot. Shulga down the lane. Drive and dish. Bean. Good body control, uses the window for 2, and Bean has his second field goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, really strong move to the basket from Bean. Great ball movement again from Utah State. They initially tried to push the pace. Air Force got back defensively. Utah State was able to do what they do, move that basketball side to side with purpose.
Good throw inside there by Carter Murphy. Corner up top to A.J. Walker. Single digits on a shot clock. Walker lets it go. Too strong again. Air Force cooling off from the field now. The Falcons just 3 of 15. Bean now trying to extend this Utah State lead. Too strong.
And Air Force doing what they should, doing everything to try to get A.J. Walker involved in this basketball game. 0 for 4 from the field for this young man, Air Force's leading scorer.
Air Force is led by as many as 5, and now it's Utah State with this 3-point advantage here inside of 9 to go in this opening half. As we mentioned, if you just joined us, Joseph Octave, Lucas Mormon out of the game here this afternoon, a late scratch due to COVID protocol. So without their 2 key starters, so Nick Jackson, Camden Vanderswag getting the start in place of Octave and Mormon. And the Falcons have played tough defensively here in the early going. Utah State shooting just 30%. This is an Aggie team that comes in shooting 49% per game this season. The spin of the lane, and traveling with the basketball is Bairstow, the junior out of Brisbane.
Yeah, just tried to make that corner. In the end, slid that right foot. Referee right on top of that one. Air Force basketball.
Well, Falcons a chance to cut it to 1 or tie it up here with a 3 ball. Here's Taylor, the screen from Jackson. Jackson rolls, and he is rewarded. Great execution by the Falcons.
Yeah, wonderful 2-man basketball there from Air Force.
Air Force within 1. And Shulga wave it off. He traveled with the basketball, so a couple of turnovers in the last 2 possessions for Utah State. That's now 4 in the game. And Air Force with a chance to take the lead here with just over 8 to go in the opening half.
And the second time that Max Shulga has traveled. This one, the first one to be called. And as you said, Air Force, big opportunity here. 8 minutes remaining in the first half.
Taylor play by Schugel, fights through the screen, drive and dish. And Highbreeder can't hit the 3 ball, and a reach there by Carter Murphy, the junior out of Phoenix. And he will pick up his first personal foul of the afternoon.
Smart foul, though, just to slow down that Utah State break.
Good look at Joe Scott, season number 6 overall at the Academy, season number 2 at his second time around here, and obviously done a great job defensively with this Air Force team, and they certainly had their work cut out today against a strong Utah State team, but Air Force so far so good, holding the Aggies just a 4 of 13 from the field. Timeout on the floor. With that, we will step aside. 7:52 to go. It's a 1-point game here in Colorado Springs. Arena, 7:52 to go in the opening half, and Air Force trailing Utah State by a score of 12-11. Josh Allen, Vargas, and Roland. Defense has been outstanding for the Air Force Falcons. They've held Utah State to without a field goal from long range here. They're 0 for 6 from beyond the arc, or the Aggies.
Yeah, we mentioned just how active Air Force had to be defensively. They've certainly done that, especially along the perimeter. Falcons have been closing out space, not letting Utah State get into a flow, a rhythm of the basketball game on the offensive end.
Going inside, and Utah State not able to convert. And there is Carter Murphy, the junior out of Phoenix, with a rebound here for the Falcons. Chance to go back out in front. The biggest lead of the game again for Air Force has been 5. That was in the opening minutes of this one. Vanderswag loses his dribble, regains it here as Highbreeder sets the screen in motion. Vanderswag pops up top. Little step back, no, well defended there by Horvath. 2 to shoot, they've got to go. Highbreeder can't get the shot off, and once again, tremendous defense by Utah State. We talked about the defense of Air Force, but how about Utah State? They've held Air Force to 4 of 17 from the field, just 24%.
Yeah, and that's at least 5 offensive possessions now for the Falcons where they've been forced to rush a pretty bad shot or not get one off because of the shot clock, all down to Utah State's defense. Just not a lot happening under the basket so far in this game for the Air Force Falcons.
Jones drops it off to Ashworth. This is Edelrock. Little high step there, top of the key. Now Ashworth backs out, 13 to shoot, drive, trying to float it up with the right hand. Good contest there by Highbreeder, forced him to alter the shot. And Air Force now with a basketball here, trailing 12-11. Inside of 7 to play here in the opening half. Taylor over to Vanderswag. In the corner is Jackson. Vanderswag over to the right side. Quickly over to Carter Murphy. A little back and forth up top, long 3 there. Vanderswag, and he slips it over the edge of the rim for the 3 ball. Air Force now another 3, their 4th of the game. Here's Miller in rhythm, drops it off left side, drive dish to Horvath. Can't convert, but the senior out of Maryland will go to the free throw line for 2.
Yeah, lovely extra pass from Utah State, but what about that in rhythm from Camden van der Zwag, his second from long range of this basketball game.
So van der Zwag has the triple Air Force 4-3 balls. They lead by 2 for the moment. At the line, Brandon Horvath. Horvath is 3 of 4 from the charity stripe here this afternoon. And you can see the style of game he plays. He gets to the rim, a lot of contests for Air Force in the early going against number 4.
Yeah, and they've had to challenge him down low with his height. They've done a good job with that. 65% free throw shooter coming into this basketball game. Looking for the second is the senior out of West River, Maryland.
Well, 1 of 2 on that trip is Brandon Horvath, and it stays a 1-point game. Just over 6 minutes to go here in this half. Ethan Taylor screen from Jackson. Defender slides by, that's Edelrock. Here's A.J. Walker now. Play there by Jones, good feed to Heidbreeder in the finish. He beat Miller baseline, and Air Force back up by 3.
Yeah, 8 for Heidbreeder now. Must have run at least a couple miles in this basketball game. He's been the most active Falcon on the offensive end so far here this afternoon.
A reverse dribble by Edelrock, no, rebound. And contesting inside of the Air Force Falcons, and Jackson now after the rebound is fouled, and we go down to the other end here with 5:42 to go in the half.
Yeah, and that'll be another foul against Horvath. 2 now for Brandon Horvath.
And 14 fouls on Utah State, 17 fouls for the Falcons. And into the game for the first time here this afternoon comes Szymon Zapala, a sophomore out of Poland. Zamberja, Poland.
Nice.
Off the ball fake. And Air Force here with a 3-point lead. Had a great defensive game here in the opening half. van der Zwag, high arcing 3, leaves it short. Walker down. Long take, and he was fouled on the play and was on the ground, so that's going to be the 15th foul.
Yeah, and again, the active play of Heidbreeder pulling down that offensive rebound before flipping it over to A.J. Walker.
So Air Force will inbound it. 5:17 to go. Ethan Taylor looking, and they just get it in here. Nick Jackson. van der Zwag played there by Justin Bean. Here's Heidbreeder. Jackson all along. Wide open look, no. And Bairstow secures the rebound. Air Force now from downtown, 4 of 12. Keep in mind, Utah State yet to hit a 3-point field goal. They come in making just about 10 a game. Here's Bairstow. Going to the reverse. Bean now. Edelrock. Play there by Taylor. Good quickness. Boy, he is deceptively quick, but good recovery to swat it away.
Yeah, wonderful first step from Edelrock. Got the corner turn. Did the hard part, just couldn't hit the layup.
Air Force working with the 16-13 lead. And this plays right into the Falcons' hand. Love a low-scoring, grinded-out defensive type of game. van der Zwag back out to A.J. Walker using all the shot clock here this afternoon. 2, drives, reverse, no. Getting a hand on it is Zapala. Edelrock, wide open 3, line drive, no. Lid on the basket for long range for Utah State. They're now 0 of 7 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, I don't think Edelrock was ever comfortable with that basketball. Almost took that 3 off of his chest.
van der Zwag, he'll try another. Leaves it short. Going to get a foul there, and I believe that's going to go on Zapala. Trying to battle inside, and with that, we will take a timeout. 3:47 to go. A.J. Walker and the Air Force Falcons holding on to the lead. What a feed, what a finish. Falcons by 3.
Access the Mountain West Conference wherever you are. Get the ultimate fan experience with the official Mountain West app for mobile and connected TV devices. Can't Can't make it to the game? Watch your favorite Mountain West basketball, softball, baseball teams, and all Mountain West championship events live or archived. Catch the Mountain West Network games live on your TV or mobile device. Keep up with the action in your favorite Mountain West sport wherever you are, whenever you want. Download the all-new Mountain West app for free today.
Las Vegas, the glow of the Strip, the world-class food and entertainment, the pure, unadulterated fun, and the basketball. After a March void of MW madness only the most passionate sports fans can provide, the Mountain West returns to the nation's college basketball tournament capital as the Thomas and Mack Center welcomes back the blocks, the slams, the buzzer beaters, and you, the fans.
Welcome back to Clune Arena, Colorado Springs, the Mountain West Conference opener. It's the Air Force Falcons leading Utah State here with 3:47 to go. Josh Howell, Roland Vargas, and Roland, you like defense, you love this opening half. Both teams getting after it. And Utah State shooting just 21% for the field. Air Force 26%. But the three ball, that has been the difference in this one.
Yeah, it's been such a choppy basketball game, but all credit for that goes to both teams and the way they've defended, especially along the perimeter. Falcons really shutting Utah State down.
So out of the timeout, Air Force on the inbound here. Nick Jackson up top, the hide breeder. Air Force has been using all of this shot clock, clearly trying to slow this tempo, the game down, and that certainly worked here in the opening half. 3 to shoot. A.J. Walker, double team, follow a tough shot, no. And the rebound by Zapala, the sophomore.
Yeah, adding some much needed height to this Utah State team coming in, replacing Horvath down low. Zapala's now pulled down a couple.
Here's Bairstow, play by Vanderswag. 15 to shoot the screen. Zapala rolls. Bairstow looking with the left hand. No, rolls around the rim, and now we got a whistle. And from the backside, it looks like they're going to get Zapala.
Yeah, it didn't appear to be a ton in that one. Just a scrum for it under the basket. So we'll go against the sophomore from Poland.
So that sends Nick Jackson to the line, and Air Force now with a 1-and-1 opportunity here. They are in the bonus. 17 fouls for both these teams.
And Shulga will come in to replace Zapala. Shulga out of Kiev.
Jackson, a 73% free throw shooter. His first attempt this afternoon rattles out. Shulga the clear. Here's Bairstow now. Played there by Vanderswag. Inside of 3 to go. Vanderswag back down by Bairstow, turning too strong.
Great defense from Camden Vanderswag. Didn't fall for that first head fake from Bairstow and forced that wild attempt.
Utah State now 4 of 21 from the field. They're under 20% on the other end. The answer, A.J. Walker gets it done.
Yeah, wonderful move toward the basket from A.J. Walker. Great finish as well.
Bairstow over to Edelrock. Right side to Ashworth. Edelrock, open look. Takes his time and hits the first 3 of the game for Utah State. They're now 1 of 8. And they've cut it to 2 here with just over 2 minutes to go.
Much more fluid rhythm for Edelrock, was able to step into that 3.
And Walker creates space and shows touch inside. A.J. Walker now on the afternoon with a couple of buckets. Falcons up by 4. Lob pass inside and a little heavy there for Bean, able to secure it, and he draws the foul. So Justin Bean, we mentioned his name often early on, but the Falcons taking him out of it for most of the first half. And there you see A.J. Walker getting in his 4th point of the game.
Yeah, and Justin Bean did a wonderful job just to track that basketball down and took the foul to the line. This season he's at 83% at the charity stripe.
He had hit leading the team in free throws, 44 of 53 coming in, and make that 45 makes now. And Justin Bean, you have to believe it's just a matter of time before his shot starts to fall. 2 of 5 from the field, and now perfect from the line. He's got a half dozen, and Utah State is within 2 inside of 2 minutes to play here in this opening half.
And Horvath back into the basketball game. He replaces Bairstow.
Vanderswag over the left side of Taylor. Up top to Jackson. Highbreeder able to secure. And AJ. Screen there from Taylor. That's a tough 3. Rims in and out. And Horvath clears for Utah State. Screen there from Ashworth, and he'll roll. Horvath, the cross over the big man, showing some handling ability on that take to the hole, and Brandon Horvath has just tied it at 20.
Yeah, covered an awful lot of ground there, did Horvath. His 8th point of this afternoon. Basketball game starting to heat up now.
There's Taylor as Horvath came over to defend. Inside a minute to play. Jackson in a 20-20 game, trying to back down his man, go to the right hand, draws the foul on Edelrock.
Yeah, it wasn't much Edelrock can do there with that mismatch down low. Just had to take the foul as Nick Jackson was going up with the right hand. Edelrock, the senior from London, went to Barking Academy, East London.
So Nick Jackson will shoot 2 here. He's 0 for 1 from the line here this afternoon. Air Force is a team. They've attempted 1 free throw. That was Jackson's lone free throw on a 1-on-1 earlier in this half. He's now 1 for 2, and the Falcons back out in front. And if you just joined us, Air Force largest lead of the game came about 2 minutes and 40 seconds in. They were up by 5. Utah State's led by as many as 3, and Air Force a pair there from Nick Jackson in a 22-20 game. Here's Ashford, drive with the right hand. Doesn't get the shot to fall, but he'll go to the free throw line for 2 here with 46.9 showing on the clock.
Landed hard on that right hip. He's favoring it a little bit as the sophomore from Alpine, Utah. Nice move around the corner, and you can see him flying into your living room there, falling onto that right-hand side.
So Stephen Ashworth averages 8 points a game. 81% free throw shooter. Utah State, just 2 of their last 11 from the field. Credit that Air Force defense, been outstanding. And as evidenced by that free throw, nothing has come easy, it seems like, in the first half for Utah State, and for that matter, both these teams.
Yeah, and we talked pregame about Air Force just trying to really discombobulate Utah State, trying to slow down their rhythm, trying to make this game choppy. Falcons have done a perfect job of that. Utah State never really able to get in much of a sustained rhythm, especially offensively.
Tied up at 22, 40 seconds to go. And a timeout here by Joe Scott and the Air Force Falcons. With that, we will step aside. 22 all, Air Force and Utah State. We'll be back to Clune Arena right after this. Different players handling the scoring, and the opening 19 plus minutes of this one for the Air Force Falcons. We're tied at 22, Utah State and Air Force. AJ Walker driving on Ashworth. Highbreeder inside out, Walker 3-ball, no, side iron. And Air Force now from long range, 4 of 15 into the half. Shot clock is off. Utah State trying to take the lead going into the half. 10 to shoot. Shulga, the screen from Bean, fights through. Ashworth drives, drops it, baseline. Ada Rock, head fake up, 1 to shoot, loose ball. What a stand by the Air Force Falcons. Tremendous job. Joe Scott, a few words with Larry Spalding as he heads to the locker room. Fired up on that possession. Didn't get the call, but Air Force got the stop. A.J. Walker and company, they're tied up at 22. Timeout. We'll be back to Clune Arena with your halftime show right after this. Welcome back to Clune Arena. We are at the half. Air Force and Utah State in the Mountain West Conference opener, all tied at 22 apiece. Josh Howe, Roland Vargas, and Roland, if you're Joe Scott in the locker room, you got to be pleased with this opening half. They've made this an ugly game, gotten after it defensively to their advantage. Air Force, they're right there toe-to-toe now with an explosive Utah State team.
Yeah, and Air Force just hasn't let the Aggies go on a run. They've been really intense, especially on the defensive end of the basketball court. Really good performance so far from Air Force. Just to your point, exactly what the Falcons wanted to do.
Keep in mind, this is a Utah State team that averages just about 80 points a game. As we go to the numbers from the first half, both teams just grinding it out defensively. And Utah State shooting 25%, Air Force just a tick better at 8 of 28 from the field. But I think the key stat to look at in this assist, Utah State came into the game this afternoon leading the nation in assists at over 20 a game. They're held to 3.
Yeah, and a couple of those are because of some missed shots, but the vast majority of them is because of Air Force flying around defensively. They haven't let Utah State move the basketball side to side with movement in behind the Falcons. The Falcons have been really keyed into this one so far.
And both teams have done a pretty good job taking care of the basketball. 20 down, 20 to go. This has been a good one. All tied at 22. We'll step aside back here with highlights from the opening half. You're watching Air Force basketball on a Mountain West Network powered by Stadium. Back here at Clune Arena, Utah State and Air Force at a Mountain West opener, all tied at 22 apiece. Josh Howell, Roland Vargas, and Roll as we dive into the highlights from the opening half. It was Air Force, not Utah State, that had the 3-ball going early.
Yeah, and Falcons jumped out to a sizable lead. Hydebreeder knocked down a couple early on, hit back-to-back threes. Falcons started hot.
Yeah, Hydebreeder 3 of 6 from the field. He finished with 8 points. And well, Justin Bean, not a big first half, but certainly helped keep Utah State in it. And they had Bean, and they had this man, the transfer out of UMBC, Brennan Horvath.
Yeah, Horvath was strong down low. Falcons did a good job controlling him for the most part, but using that size and that length to get a couple of buckets.
And Camden Vanderswag, he had half of Air Force's 3. He had a couple. First, we talked about Jake Hydebreeder with a couple, and then A.J. Walker. How about that body control? Little bump to create space, floated up and in. He's one of 4 Falcons to score in the opening half and has Air Force at 22. We are tied up, and we will step aside. You're watching Air Force basketball here on the Mountain West Network, powered by Stadium.
Access the Mountain West Conference wherever you are. Get the ultimate fan experience with the official Mountain West app for mobile and connected TV devices. Can't make it to the game? Watch your favorite Mountain West basketball, softball, baseball teams, and all Mountain West championship events live or archived. Catch the Mountain West Network games live on your TV or mobile device. Keep up with the action in your favorite Mountain West sport wherever you are, whenever you want. Download the all-new Mountain West app for free today.
Las Vegas, the glow of the Strip, the world-class food and entertainment, the pure, unadulterated fun, and the basketball. After a March void of NW madness only the most passionate sports fans can provide, the Mountain West returns to the nation's college basketball tournament capital as the Thomas and Mack Center welcomes back the blocks, the slams, the buzzer beaters, and you, the fans.
Ready to roll for the second half here at Clune Arena. Colorado Springs United States Air Force Academy. This is the Mountain West Conference opener for the Utah State Aggies and the Air Force Falcons. Josh Howe, Roland Vargas. And Roland, no surprises if you're an Air Force fan. The Falcons love to D it up, and they did just that out of Utah State, taking the Aggies out of their game, holding Utah State to just 6 of 24 from the field. 25% in that opening half. Yeah, and if the Falcons are able to continue the way they've been playing defensively, you might start to see some frustration boiling over for the Aggies. So far, it's been a very evenly played basketball game. Couple players with 3 fouls, but we'll see how that plays out early in the second half. Keep in mind, this is a Utah State team that averaged 83.3 points per game over the last 5 games. Air Force, well, they'd been in the 40s the last 3 games, but again, playing to their strengths, and that is defending to the point of frustration against their opponents this season. There's Nick Jackson. Little baseline cut off there by Horvath. Keep in mind, Horvath playing with 3 fouls that he picked up in that opening half for Air Force. A.J. Walker has 3. Here's Jackson, can't hit inside. One and done on that possession. Horvath the rip, and Jones quickly into the front court here for the Aggies. And a beautiful pass inside by Utah State as Edelrock gets it to Justin Bean, and the Aggies back up by 2. Yeah, 8 now for Bean. Utah State's leading scorer, starting to heat up a little bit. Utah State's led by as many as 3. Air Force, their biggest lead at 5. Horvath, another rebound. Horvath now, his 6th rebound of the game. Edelrock backing down Vanderswag. Miller now, catch it, shoot it, and he cannot get it to fall. Horvath, another rebound to the hole with the right hand, leaves it short. Yeah, a bit of an awkward play there down under the basket. Nick Jackson was looking for the offensive foul against Horvath. Referees don't oblige. Horvath comes in averaging 5.9 rebounds a game. He has 7 already in this one as we have just started half number 2. Here's Jackson, play by Horvath. Gives it off to Vanderswag. Play there by Justin Bean. 7 to shoot here for the Falcons. Quick toss inside to Taylor, doubled up down the lane for Vanderswag, and he gets it to go. Camden Vanderswag, beautiful feed here for the Falcons, resulting in 2. Yeah, wonderful 2-man basketball. Great pass from Ethan Taylor. And a strong cut once again toward the basket from Camden Vanderswag. Air Force now 8 assists to Utah State's 4. Utah State, the #1 team of the nation as far as assists per game, over 20 a contest coming in. Here's Horvath backing down Vanderswag. Quick hands by Nick Jackson. The takeaway here for Air Force. Turnover number 5 for Utah State. Yeah, and good defense from Vanderswag. Thought he might need some help down low there against Horvath. In the end, Nick Jackson able to rip that ball away. Drive and dish. Jackson now, skip pass out of the corner. Ethan Taylor, reverse dribble, doubled up there. Jones is on him as he backs down baseline. Kick out 3 ball. Jackson gets the roll. Nick Jackson and Air Force now 5 3-point field goals on the day, and they're up by 3. Yeah, and if Nick Jackson's able to consistently knock down that shot, changes the dynamic of the Air Force offense. Stepped into that one in perfect rhythm. Foul's going to go down low as Horvath. Great head fake by Horvath as he gets Ethan Taylor up in the air. Horvath will go to the free throw line for 2, where he is 4 of 6 prior to this trip. And there you see another 3 ball falling for the Falcons in a 27-24 game. Brandon Horvath, 61% free throw shooter. He's been pretty good here today as Horvath now 5 of 7 from the charity stripe. And into the contest comes Carter Murphy for Joe Scott's team, and out goes Ethan Taylor. Keep in mind, Joseph Octavi, Lucas Mormon, 2 starters out of the lineup today due to COVID protocol. So A.J. Walker brings it up here in a 2-point Air Force lead. Just over 2.5 minutes gone by in half number 2. We get a whistle away from the ball. Walker and Jones battling, and Jones is going to be ticketed for the personal foul. Yeah, it didn't seem like there was a ton in that. Just Rylan Jones on the hold, preventing Air Force from sweeping under the basket. That's the first team foul for Utah State this half. They did a pretty good job staying out of foul trouble. In fact, Air Force didn't go to the free throw line until late in that first half in terms of being in the bonus.
Ashworth replaces Jones.
And that replacement, Roland, comes just about 3 minutes into this second half. Ashworth now playing A.J. Walker, trying to shake loose, kick out, 3-ball, Carter no. And the rebound secured by Miller. He'll push over to Horvath. In rhythm, Ashworth, good luck, too strong. Horvath skying high, and he draws a foul. And Nick Jackson is going to be the guilty party. And here's another look, Roland.
Yeah, great rebound by Utah State. And Horvath goes right back up strong. And Nick Jackson over the back.
So Horvath, 9 points prior to this trip to the free throw line. He's 5 of 8 from the charity stripe. Is the team, Utah State, now 15 attempts. They've made just 10. Again, he's a 61% free throw shooter is Horvath coming into this one.
Senior out of West River, Maryland. About exactly an hour due south of Charm City.
He has struggled from the line now at 5 of 10, 50%, so well below his season average. Lead stays at 2 here for the Air Force Falcons. Here's Vanderswag off to A.J. Walker. Played there by Ashworth, taken away. Horvath, eyes up and looking down the floor. Drops it off left side, Miller, ball fake, step back, 3-ball. Slow rotation, can't get it to go, but Bean there secures the one-handed rebound. Miller again, long iron, and Utah State now 1 of 12 from downtown.
Yeah, but the offensive rebound starting to add up a little bit in this second half for Utah State, but still ice cold from beyond the arc.
Here's Vanderswag over to Hydebreeder. Zip pass going inside. Murphy trying to back down Adelrock. Back out to Jackson. 9 to shoot here for the Falcons. Good back cut there. Nice feed and a finish for A.J. Walker.
Yeah, great cut to the basket from A.J. Walker. Thought he might have lost the handle momentarily. Able to scoop it back. Nice finish as well.
9 assists for the Falcons. Just 4 for Utah State. Ball fake. Puts the ball down to the floor. Long iron again. Ice cold are the Aggies from beyond the arc. They're 1 of 13. Murphy. Extra pass here to the corner here to Nick Jackson. And again, no quick shots here this afternoon for the Falcons. Going to use all of that shot clock. And as we say that, that's probably the quickest we've seen with 12 on the shot clock. Jackson takes a long 3 and a timeout on the floor. Media timeout, 15:05 to go. Air Force with a 4-point lead. You're watching Air Force basketball on the Mountain West Network, powered by Stadium. What a defensive performance this afternoon by the Air Force Falcons. We have 15:05 to go in the game. And Air Force leads Utah State 29-25. Roland Vargas, This, the same Utah State team averaging over 83 points a game over the last 5 games.
Yeah, it's just been so disjointed so far from the Aggies. All credit, though, to Air Force flying around defensively, starting to knock down shots as well. Game has increased its tempo a little bit early in the second half. But still, Air Force always on the front foot, both offensively and defensively in this basketball game. A short-handed Air Force Falcons team.
What a feed in the finish from Carter Murphy. In Air Force now, their biggest lead of the game, up 6.
Yeah, what a gorgeous pass from Nick Jackson down low.
Falcons now 12 of 36 from the field at 33%. Murphy, his first bucket of the game. Utah State Ashworth, just 1 3-point field goal for the Aggies here. Horvath, and he's fouled on the ground. And they're going to get Vanderswag, but nothing easy today for Utah State.
Yeah, Air Force fighting every inch of the way. Look about that from Nick Jackson down low. Great finish, Carter Murphy.
Nick Jackson, 3 assists. Air Force has 11 as a team, just 4 for Utah State. Roles have been reversed. The Falcons come in, 12 assists a game. Utah State, as we mentioned, leading the nation at 20 assists a game, just over 20. And Air Force has done a great job sharing the basketball and using that shot clock to their advantage. On the inbound, this is Shula. Ashworth there, the screen from Horvath, directing Shulga. Backs down and looked to be a good feed, but it was deflected, and they're going to say last touch by the Falcons.
Yeah, just clipped a leg as it went through. It'll stay Aggie basketball, 11 on the shot clock.
And here's another look, Shulga. And yes, that was, well, it may have caught Utah State, but it's going to stay Aggie ball, and Justin Bean to the reverse, and the Aggies get within 4.
Double digits now for Bean. 4 of 7 from the floor.
Justin Bean, again, third in the nation in double-doubles with 8 coming in, and today he has 10 points, 6 rebounds.
Yeah, smart basketball again from A.J. Walker. Just knew that contact was always going to happen, just slowed down, almost forced Ashworth to run into him. Personal foul goes against Ashworth.
Does such a good job with body control, drawing the foul. We saw him hit a bucket late in that first half, similar type of move. Here's Highbreeder now. Good defense there by Horvath, and Miller collapsing to cut off the lane. Murphy, 3, no. Miller the rebound. Here comes Ashworth. Eyes down the floor here as Utah State trailing by 4. And a quick entry pass to Justin Bean for the elbow, in and out. Murphy, one and done. That possession for Utah State. Carter secures the rebound. Quickly, A.J. Walker and company into the Utah State end. Here's Nick Jackson. Jab step, working on Horvath. Backs down. Going to the left hand. No, going to the right. Nick Jackson. What a move. The finish, and Air Force back up by 5.
Yeah, it was the only presence down low there for Air Force as Nick Jackson stayed with it. Miller rushes the 3.
Check that, a 6-point lead for the Falcons, and this equals their largest lead of the game.
Great persistence from Nick Jackson, and strong finish as well. Just went right around Horvath.
And keep in mind, Horvath had been playing with 3 personal fouls. Well, check that too. Looks like there was a discrepancy between the halftime stat sheet sent out and what's live online, but Horvath now 2 fouls. It is official. Up on the scores board you have 2, so he's okay right now in terms of fouls, but right now it's Air Force. They have set the tone of this game and stuck with it. A 6-point lead. 12 and a half to go in this one. Horvath the rebound. Hesitation, drive and dish. Justin Bean hangs, can't get it to go. Jackson the rebound.
Yeah, a ton of contact. Great job by the referees, just letting them play. Strong move to the basket again from Bean, but contested.
Hydebreeder gives it off to A.J. Walker. Screen from Nick Jackson. 10 to shoot here. Air Force again using that clock. Jackson going to work baseline on Bairstow. 5 to shoot. Jackson shoulders in. Spins with the left hand. That's going to be offensive.
Little dramatic there from Sean Bairstow, but got the call as the young man from Brisbane went flying away from Nick Jackson. Foul against Jackson. Six-point
fans
game.
didn't like it. Time out of the floor with that. We will step aside. 11:47 to go. Air Force up by 6 over Utah State. By the Air Force Falcons, they find themselves out in front of Utah State 33-27, a half-dozen point lead here in the second half. 11:47 to go. Josh Howell, Roland Vargas, and Roland, what a job defensively by Joe Scott, and then his players executing here in the first nearly 30 minutes of this one.
Yeah, the Falcons haven't let their foot off the gas at all defensively. They've been flying around ever since the opening tip of this basketball game, forcing Utah State into shots they don't want to take, into passes they don't want to attempt. And so far, Air Force beneficiaries of that defensive performance, holding Utah State to just 27.
There's Justin Bean trying to get him more involved, or the Aggies of Utah State. And how about the freshman Ryan Corner comes in, take away on Bean, and then we get a foul.
A little chippy there from Barstow as well after that one. Didn't appear like there was anything in it, but Barstow did take some exception as Air Force goes in fighting for the basketball. Just you'll see right here, Barstow turns around, has a couple of words.
Well, perhaps some frustration, Roland Vargas, by this Utah State team. And Air Force, credit the Falcons, they had made Utah State frustrated. Now Bairstow takes it out on a turnaround. He gets a bucket, and that's his first field goal of the game. 4-point lead here for Air Force, approaching the 11-minute mark in this second half. Carter Murphy up top to Corner. Murphy cuts through. Now the screen going to the backside as Hydebreeder calls for the ball. 10 to shoot. Rotation left side. Here's Vanderswag using that jab step. Played there by Justin Bean. They'll switch off. 2 to shoot. Vanderswag, 3 ball. Leaves it short. And Bean and company will move it out of the Falcons' end.
It's at least a half dozen times now Air Force has had to force a shot with the shot clock running out. Beautiful pass there down low. Bairstow with his second basket in a row.
Well, here he comes. Bairstow and company. We know the value that the junior out of Brisbane brings to this Utah State lineup. 57 games played over the last 2 seasons, and here he is, averaging just about 7.5 points a game coming into this one here today. All his points have come here in the second half. Air Force's lead as big as 6. Utah State, they've led by as many as 3 here. Falcons up by 2. On the inbound here, Hydebreeder and company go to work. Utah State 11-point favorites coming into this one. Falcons, they have been up to the task. Looking inside, Jackson opts to drop it off. A.J. Walker got it. A.J. Walker, his first 3 of the game, he has 9, and the Falcons extend their lead.
Yeah, more smart basketball from Air Force, and they force a long 3. Bairstow with a bit of a heat check on the far side, sees that one long.
Carter Murphy, played there by Rylan Jones. Bean cuts off the would-be pass attempt for Air Force. Walker now, played there by Ashworth. 13 to shoot here for the Falcons. Walker looking inside on the cut as Murphy, no. They go up top to Jackson. Highbreeder, 2 to shoot, they gotta go. Highbreeder loses a handle, gets it up and in. The kind of basket you need. The shot clock winding down, and Air Force right now up by 7, their largest lead of the game. Bairstow quickly to Justin Bean. Quick touch pass there from Ashworth. There's Bairstow going to work, crosses over Jackson, hangs in the lane, gets the roll. Bairstow, 3 field goals in this second half.
Yeah, 3 for his last 4 from the field. Warming up now is the junior out of the hosts of the 2032 Summer Olympics, Brisbane and Far Eastern Australia.
Highbreeder, long 3, got it. Highbreeder, big time bucket, and the Falcons retake the lead up by 3.
Yeah, Baker's dozen now for Highbreeder. That was a huge shot, just to give Air Force that cushion again.
Bean an answer up over the 10. And Justin Bean now has cut it to 1. Checked out a 6-point game. 41-35. Scoring has been fast and furious here over the last couple of minutes in this one. Approaching the 8-minute mark. Taken away here by Rylan Jones. Jackson bats it out of midair. Ashford straightaway 3, no. And Utah State now 1 of 16 from downtown. No doubt the story in this game. Here's Highbreeder, drive and dish. 10 to shoot here. Carter Murphy, little hesitation cut off there by Bairstow. 5 to shoot. Murphy dribbling around Bairstow, trying to drop it off. Vanderswag, 2 to shoot, 1, throws it up, shot clock violation.
Yeah, and I think maybe Justin Bean might have gotten a little bit of a piece of that one on that turnaround.
Timeout of the floor, media timeout, 7:23 to go. Air Force holding on to a 6-point lead. It's been the Jake Hyde-Breeder show here in the second half.
Yeah, it sure has. A baker's dozen now for Hyde-Breeder. Couple of quick-fire baskets, none more impressive than that long three that he just hit, helping Air Force maintain that cushion over favored Utah State.
Hyde-Breeder 5 of 8 from the field. He's 3 of 5 from downtown, 13 points. Air Force, they've led by as many as 8 in the second half. Right now, out of the timeout, up by 6. Ryland Jones and company bring it to the Air Force end. Here's Horvath over the left side of Miller. They'll dump it down to Bean, working one-on-one on Nick Jackson. Bean now, tough shot goes, contested, but Justin Bean able to stick the jump shot. He now with the dozen.
Yeah, just never really got into a rhythm in that first half, but Bean now starting to make some of the shots that he was missing. He's starting to warm up.
Inside of 7 to play here in a 4-point game. There's Carter Murphy playing with 4 fouls. Drive and drop, back out, 3 ball. Jackson, no on the roll. Horvath secures. 1 and done on that possession for the Falcons. Rebound number 31 for Utah State. Make that 32. And how about the answer? Utah State now within 2.
Yeah, great pass from Horvath. Even better cut to the basket from Edelrock.
Here's Walker, screen from Jackson. Walker hangs with the left hand. Beautiful shot by A.J. Walker.
Yeah, once again, A.J. Walker creating space where there just doesn't seem to be any. This time switching over to that left hand, getting that little floater to drop.
43-39 here. Air Force with the lead. Edelrock. Horvath thought about the triple. Drives and a hand check, and I believe that's going to be 5 on Murphy. Yes, it will be. So Carter Murphy giving some valuable minutes here, and on the other end, A.J. Walker doing what he does.
Yeah, beautiful play from A.J. Walker. He loves that little space right around the free throw line where he's able to just drive there and then stop and pop. Did that perfectly with the left hand. Looks like the Falcons will bring in Ethan Taylor for the departing Carter Murphy.
So Carter Murphy checks out, 2 points, 4 rebounds. And some quality minutes for Joe Scott when his team needed him in the worst way here. Again, Joseph Octave, Lucas Mormon, 2 starters out due to COVID protocol. And Ethan Taylor checks in foul trouble as well. Miller in and out.
It was a pretty good look for Miller. Saw it rattle out. Falcons hit 4, their last 5 from the floor.
Ethan Taylor, Rowan playing with 4 fouls. Here's Nick Jackson. Drops it off, Hyde-Breeder. Taylor, guarded by Miller. Try to get through the screen, he'll switch it off. Justin Bean picks up Taylor now. Backing down, Bean goes up top, 4 to shoot, they lose a handle on it. Turnover, Falcons, Miller now. Over to the right side, Edelrock, able to pull it down. There's Horvath backing down Jackson, and that's going to be offensive.
Yeah, well, they called it on one end against Nick Jackson a few possessions ago. This time, referee staying consistent, calling that one against Horvath.
That's his 3rd personal foul. And a turnover for Utah State. 4-point lead here for Air Force. Hyde-Breeder, zip pass inside Jackson. Back it down Horvath, gives it out to Taylor, 14 to shoot. Horvath picks him up. Oh, what a move, baseline, going to the reverse. Can't get the roll. Good contest by Horvath. Skip pass here to the corner, Miller. Off the bounce, drive, the drop, and the hammer by Justin Bean.
And that's Utah State basketball 101, that beautiful extra pass from Miller down low to Bean, who finishes strong.
And Bean now with 16 points. Just about 3 shy of his per game average. Ethan Taylor at a 2-point Air Force lead. Well, this would be massive if the Falcons could find a way to close this one out. Walker 3, got it! A.J. Walker now with 14.
Yeah, what a huge shot from A.J. Walker. Time and time again, he's been able to hit those this season. Ryan Odom on the Utah State bench, less than thrilled
Idle Rock. Boy, that quickness to get by Taylor. Uses the right hand to get within 3. 46-43. Inside of 4 minutes to go here at the Mountain West Conference opener. Walker has it pass partially tipped. Highbreeder, extra pass. Good ball rotation by the Falcons. And Rylan Jones fouls A.J. Walker up top.
Yeah, just had to move laterally there, did Rylan Jones. Try to slow down A.J. Walker as he was trying to turn the corner. 5
fouls now on Utah State without a timeout of the floor. 3 ball, up and good. Air Force holding on, trying to close it out here at a Mountain West Conference opener. Is setting up to be here at Clune Arena. Air Force in Utah State, the Mountain West Conference opener for both these teams. The Falcons lead the Aggies 46-43. Josh Howell, Roland Vargas, and Roland coming in. Utah State has owned this series. They won the last 3 in this series. But Air Force giving Utah State all they can handle and then some.
Yeah, shorthanded Air Force. 5 players in COVID protocol. Falcons getting contributions from all over their roster. And they're going to have to close this one out now. 3.5, under 3.5 remaining in this basketball game that's really heated up here in the second half.
5 to shoot for number 5. Ethan Taylor playing with 4 fouls too. He's got to go. Throws it up and not enough on it. Will not get to the bucket. And shot clock violation here with 3:14 to go. Well, the Falcons almost need to be flawless the way this game is played out. Each time the shot clock, taking it down to 3 and 2 seconds on the clock. Not a lot of room for error.
Yeah, I think you're 100% correct. And as they look down low to Bean, that's his second flush in the last couple of minutes for Justin Bean. 18 now for Utah State's leading scorer.
And Justin Bean, 18 points to go along with 8 rebounds. Just 11 assists here for Utah State. A 1-point game. Air Force still holding on. They've led by as many as 8. Here's Nick Jackson. We're inside of 3 minutes to play. Highbreeder, 8 to shoot. Highbreeder splits the defenders off the window. Can't get the roll. Miller the rebound. Jones, no look pass to Horvath. Swatted from behind. What a play by Nick Jackson. Crowd coming alive here in the closing moments of this one.
Sensational defense from Nick Jackson.
Here's Ethan Taylor, played by Miller. Vanderswag calls a timeout, 2:05 to go. Air Force will still have 2 timeouts to go. Well, the Falcons doing it on both ends of the floor. No quit at all. How about Nick Jackson? The swat on Horvath. Air Force by 1. We still have 2:05 to go, but this certainly one of the key plays into the game to this point. How about Nick Jackson, the swat on Horvath to keep it a 1-point Air Force lead. Josh Howell and Vargas, and the question is, Roland, can this Falcon team find a way to close out Utah State and pull an upset in the Mountain West Conference opener?
Yeah, and what a huge upset this would be. A depleted Air Force roster coming in here, starting Mountain West Conference play. Just playing with the otherworldly intensity so far in this basketball game. 2 minutes they've got to close out the Aggies of Utah State.
So Jackson looking inside. There's A.J. Walker, 5 to shoot. Walker, 2 on the shot clock, hoists up the 3, and will not draw iron. Shot clock violation. They turn it over, up by 1, and now here we go to the other side. 1:53 to go. Utah State 35% from the field, 17 of 49, but just 1 of 17 from downtown. But a field goal would put them up by 1. Here's Justin Bean. Miller, 3-ball, too strong. Ethan Taylor, big time rebound to the backside here for the Falcons. They'll walk it into the Aggie end here with inside a 1-footer to go. Up by 1, Vanderswag, zip pass inside of Ethan Taylor, played by Horvath. Back out to Vanderswag, Highbreeder, surveying, guarded by Miller. Nick Jackson now to the shot clock here for the Falcons. A.J. Walker, long 3, too strong. And Justin Bean pulls out the long rebound here for Utah State. 1 minute and 10 seconds to go in regulation, a 1-point game. Air Force, can they hold on here down the stretch? Horvath to Miller, played by Highbreeder, gets it out to Justin Bean. Jackson, no call, 12 to shoot. Miller, ball fake, pulls up, mid-range J, in and out. And a rebound secured by Highbreeder. We are inside, 50 seconds to go.
0 of 8 from the floor now for Miller, just hasn't found it at all this afternoon here in Colorado Springs.
18 to shoot. Joe Scott says, let's talk about it. Timeout here for the Falcons. With that, we will step aside. Do not go away. Air Force trying to pull the upset today against Utah State. Falcons by 1. Back after this. Arena. 38 seconds to go. Air Force leading Utah State 46-45 in a Mountain West Conference opener for both these teams. Josh Howe, Roland Vargas. Roland, Air Force took the timeout. 18 seconds on the shot clock. They'll have the basketball and a 1-point lead here. What a finish this has turned out to be.
Yeah, it certainly has. We'll see if the Air Force Falcons look for A.J. Walker. They do just that.
Walker played there by Rylan Jones. Here's Nick Jackson. Again, Air Force has used all the shot clock for most of their possessions here today. Walker now drives, cut off in the lane, drops it out. Taylor, 3-ball corner, short iron. Jones has it. Shot clock is off. 22 seconds and counting here. Utah State down by 1. Fans to their feet here at Clune Arena. Bean has it. Rylan Jones taken away. Vanderswag is still errant pass by Jones. Air Force has it. 9 seconds to play in a 1-point lead.
And again, the Air Force pressure. Defense forcing another turnover. Jumping into that one, Camden Vanderswag. And he takes the foul.
A little miscommunication on Utah State's end, and credit Camden Vanderswag in this Air Force defense. They have forced the turnovers the entire afternoon. Turnover number 7, or check that to for Utah State. It is number 7, but it is critical. Timeout of the floor, 9 seconds to go. We're going to keep it right here. 30-second timeout. And Roland Vargas' defense has been the story today for the Air Force Falcons.
Yeah, it certainly has. They forced a lot of bad passes from this Utah State team. They've held players like Miller scoreless in this basketball game. Miller's had 8 looks from the field, hasn't seen any of them drop. Air Force done a good job controlling the boards as well. Really comprehensive Falcon performance. 9 seconds for them to see this one out.
How about this stat? Utah State came in leading the country in assists, over 20 assists a game, just 11 today. Air Force 18 field goals on 15 assists.
Yeah, and forcing Utah State into 7 huge turnovers. That 7 number is actually pretty low. Utah State, look at the score sheet, not be totally upset with that, but it's when those turnovers have happened that have really killed the Aggies so far.
So it's going to be Falcon basketball. Ethan Taylor will have it. Horvath going to guard the inbound play. Taylor looking, and he'll just get it into A.J. Walker. Fouled there immediately by Miller. 8.7 on the clock. We go down to the other end. Bonus situation here. No, in 1 foul. Now that just did put him into the bonus. So 7 fouls now.
70
on Utah State. So 1-and-1 situation here for the Falcons. A.J. Walker today, his first free throw attempt. On the season, he's 77%, 28 of 36. And Air Force leads by 2 with 8.7 seconds to go. This would be a massive win here for the Falcons, given they've had 2 starters out due to COVID protocol. Walker gets them both. Air Force is up by 3, 8 seconds to go.
Air Force taking the timeout. You mentioned it, 8 seconds to go, 3-point lead. Air Force will just drop back, see if they put any pressure in on the inbounds pass.
Well, keep in mind the 3 ball. It has been a big part of Utah State's offense coming into this one. They averaged just under 10 makes per game from downtown, but not today. They are 1 of 18. Again, 1 of 18 from 3-point range. 5% Utah State credit. Joe Scott in this Air Force Falcon defense. They have been suffocating today against the Aggies.
Yeah, they sure had, and to your point, 39% for Utah State so far this season from 3. Just not happening for them this afternoon. This basketball game all comes down to this.
Well, the one make has been by Edelrock. You have to believe Justin Bean would get a look. He's 56% from 3-point range. But right now, just trying to get it off the floor. 8 seconds to go.
Air Force
They'll get it into Ashworth. Play there by A.J. Walker, and immediately fouled by Walker with 5.6 to go. And a 1-and-1 situation. So that is the 17th foul on Air Force, so just puts Utah State into the bonus.
And Ashworth 81% from the charity stripe this season.
But perhaps Air Force, knowing they're playing with fire, Utah State at some point is going to find a way to make the 3-point field goal, but not to this point, just 1 of 18 again. So here we go, Ashworth at the charity stripe, makes the first to cut it to 2. He's an 81% free throw shooter, and he's perfect today from the line, 3 of 3. 48-46, 5.6 seconds to go. Got them both. 1-point game here. Horvath will guard the inbound. Ethan Taylor looking. A.J. Walker trying to get free. Walker bounces it in. Highbreeder, he's fouled. 5.1 of the clock. We go down to the other end. and a 65% free throw shooter. And Jake Heidbreeder, who has not been to the free throw line this afternoon.
And the Falcons just did a great job just to get that basketball in. To your point, no attempts for Heidbreeder from the line here today.
As a team, Air Force just 4 of 5 from the line here this afternoon. Joe Scott quickly huddles up the Falcons in front of the Air Force bench. It's Heidbreeder. 5.1 of the clock at a 1-point Air Force lead. Again, in this series, Utah State has won 3 straight. Air Force would like nothing more than to pull the upset and win the Mountain West Conference opener. Heidbreeder, clutch free throw. Air Force by 2. 5.1 seconds remaining in this one. Jake Heidbreeder misses a second. Justin Bean, the rebound, timeout here. 4.4 to go. A lot of time left in this one.
Yeah, a ton of time remaining in this basketball game. More than enough for Utah State. Get the ball in, get the shot that they want. Heidbreeder hit the first of that 2. 2-point lead, Air Force.
Well, options for head coach Ryan Odom. His first trip ever to Clune Arena as the coach of Utah State. Well, defense has been outstanding for both these teams. Again, Air Force holding Utah State to just 17 of 51 from the field, and Air Force 18 of 50. Falcons, one of the top defensive teams in the country, showing it here this afternoon against an explosive Aggie team that again was averaging 83.3 points a game the last 5 games. Had won 3 of 4, and coming in off a big win over Portland State out of the Big Sky Conference, a 19-point win back on December 21st.
Yeah, they scored an easy 81 in that game, but it's been such a different story here this afternoon. Everything contested by the Air Force Falcons.
So here we go. The Aggies have broke huddle. Ashworth, Horvath, Edelrock, Miller, and Justin Bean, the 2-time Mountain West Conference selection, on the floor right now for Utah State. They'll have the basketball, need to go the length of the floor. 4.4 seconds to go. A 1-point Air Force lead. Falcons set it up here on defense. Horvath to do the inbounding here for the Aggies. Fans on their feet here at Clune Arena. Baseball pass. Timeout taken there by Justin Bean, and they get it to the front court with 3.8 on the clock, and execution to perfection on that play for Utah State.
Yeah, that's the play they wanted to run. Great pass by Horvath in on that inbounds. Bean immediately with the timeout. That changes the dynamic of this quite a bit now with 3.8 left and the ball coming in the front court.
And now rolling. The Aggies have options.
Yeah, they have tons of options. You can run just about any play you want. 3.8 seconds is an eternity for the Aggies. They can get something. They can even get an extra pass once they work the basketball in. If they want to perhaps move it into a corner, they do have a lot of options here.
So there you see Joe Scott trying to trot up defensively. On the floor for the Falcons, you have the lengthy Nick Jackson, Ethan Taylor playing with 4 fouls. Heidbreeder, Camden Vanderswag, and A.J. Walker. The 5 that started this game will finish it. 49-47 Air Force by 2, trying to hold on here in the Mountain West Conference opener. Stephen Ashworth will inbound it in front of the Aggie bench. He's got Miller to the right side. Edelrock back to Ashworth, long 3, short iron. Miller, no, not in time. The Falcons pull the upset in the Mountain West Conference opener.
Really rushed that shot, did Utah State. Didn't need to take that one so quickly. They controlled the inbounds, got it in really well, and just rushed there right at the end. Huge monumental upset for Air Force to begin